guys, in this video I want to talk about glute activation for specific glute exercises. If you look at the anatomy of your glutes, you have the medius on the sides and the maximus here in the center. What you want to do when you're starting your glute workout is to do a few warm-up exercises to get that connection between your mind and your muscle so that you're working that muscle intentionally and not just going through the motions. One of my exercises that I put a lot in programs in the beginning is a backwards fencing walk, and we put this band around our ankles like this, or we put it around our feet like this. Okay, so we'll just keep it there. And what I do is, I'll show you from the front, what we do is we make like a backwards letter C when we step back. So we go in and then stretch back, and then in and stretch back. Do you see that? So I'm going to raise it to my ankles here and show you how I do this. First, we press against the band until we feel something turn on back here, okay? So we want to start with some resistance, stretch, and then step out with your knees bent a little bit. Stretch, step out. Stretch and step out, okay? A more advanced way of doing this is start in a squat, pressing against the band. Step, stretch out. Step, stretch out, okay? And you'll take as many steps backward as stated in your program. Turn around and walk back the other way. Another way to check in and get that connection is to just kick back. So you would lean either against something like this or something a little lower. It could even be just a wall or the back of a couch. And you'll stretch your leg to the back and just stretch against the band until you feel this turn on. You want to have a slight bend in your knee and slowly just start to get that connection and understand what it's supposed to feel like when that glute is firing, okay? Another way is like this, right? Obviously on the other side, stretching back and in. So if you don't feel it when you're doing that fencing walk, you can just start with this. You don't even need a band. You can just pop this band off and push your leg back and up. Back and up. So I'm pushing my heel toward the floor so that I'm flexing that butt cheek, okay? Another exercise that you can do to turn on your glutes is to take this 1-inch super band. I always put this around my shoulders, not my neck. I don't like it around my neck. Step into your super band, okay? And just walk laterally with your knees bent a little bit. This is for your medius on the sides. Just checking in and getting that connection, okay? It's a slight stretch in this band because this band is already pulled very taut. Another way that people do this one is they'll step in on both of them, hang on to these, and just do the same thing. Tiny little steps, okay? Just like that. All right, so I'm gonna come down here for this glute bridge. So, a lot of times I see people doing these glute bridges and they're just going up and down. Now in some YouTube videos, you'll see somebody really loading up this big bar with 200 and 300 pounds, yes, for women, that much weight, and yanking their hips up, and it's really not working your tush at all. So a great way to start this connection between your mind and your glutes is to get a band, keep this band on right above your knee, And when you come out to this position here, you want to be pressing against that band. You're going to be pushing your knees out just slightly, okay? So you're in the right spot. Now remember, you have your medius on the sides, your maximus here in the center, okay? So when you bridge up, this is what I see people doing. They're just moving. And I'm feeling it here in my psoas, a little bit in my lower back, not really much in my glutes at all. Maybe a tiny bit of a contraction at the top. But look, I mean, it's just a jiggly mess. There's nothing going on there. I'm feeling it a bit in my hamstrings just from holding myself in this position. So to get into the glute area, what you want to think about is you come up, you shoot your knees out that way. So you're pressing your knees out that way while you keep that tension on the band. And by the time you get to this spot, you'll feel that medius fire. And if you don't, keep moving slowly here and shoot that out, your knees, until you feel that turn on. And then the top of your glute bridge is when you engage that maximus and squeeze everything tightly together. So it's squeeze super, super, super tight on the top and then release. So the releasing is the maximus releases, then the medius turns off. When you come up, your medius should turn on the outside, then your maximus squeezes up. And I can feel this with no weight whatsoever, okay? If you don't feel anything happening after doing that, squeeze as tight as you can at the top, pressing out against this band, and hold it for a minute. And get in touch. Close your eyes. Think about what you're doing. See, I'm already shaking. This is going to create that connection there, okay? So if you're very strong, you may not have to release all the way onto the bottom for your glute bridge. Maybe you can shorten your motion because you don't need the rest portion of the exercise. Maybe you can stay up here, keep that tension on the band, and just work on keeping this turned on and the deep squeeze and the release. See how small that is? Squeeze and release. And that's what I'm doing, is I'm pulling my tush together tight and then releasing about halfway. So squeezing up all the way, shooting my knees out, and release. And you will feel it, okay? We never want to be doing these glute bridges of just shooting your body up and down, especially if you have a compromised back, because I'll tell you, you're gonna get hurt. And if you start loading up a bar with some weight on it, you're gonna get hurt real bad. Nobody wants that, okay? Let's talk about a squat. I'm gonna use this TRX to talk about squat for glute activation. Again, something I see all the time is people just bending, standing up, bending, standing up, right? This is how you see people squat. All in the quads, all in the quads, nothing back here, okay? If you're only feeling it in your quads, what you can do is you can grab a couple of plates. If you're at the gym, I have a couple plates here. You can elevate your heels by standing on some plates, and that will keep your chest from caving over and let you sit back farther into your hips, okay? So you can try that. But what we want to think about is this. I'm using these handles so I can hold this squat back and really exaggerate the position so that you can see. Watch. I'm going to sit back. Now see how this is at a right angle? This is impossible to do without holding on to this. But to show you what I want in an exaggerated way to activate your glutes for a squat is you need to think about hinging here at your hips. Chest stays up nice and tall. We don't squat like this. Your chest does not come down to your knees. If that's happening, your squat should just be a sit and stand. You should be sitting and standing. You should never be squatting like that, ever. So watch. When you squat, you want your knees tracking in line with your toes. When your squat gets too heavy, this is what happens. It's exaggerated so you can see it on camera. But you'll see that. You'll see this wavering of the knees. The knees go out. We get external rotation of the feet. Okay? The knees typically will cave in. Then you have a compromised knee. You don't want that, okay? You need to have your knees tracking over your toes the whole time. Down and up. And as you get tired, you'll see that. You'll look down and you'll see this little whoop where your knees come in. And it's just muscle fatigue, okay? If that keeps happening to you, grab your band again. Because if you do this in your squat, your band will get loose. And this will keep your legs in position if you have this band here just to help you out, keeping that connection and keeping the alignment, okay? When you go down into your squat, you want to think about like that chair is right there, but you're not really sitting on it. Look, I'm squatting like it's there, but I'm not sitting on it, okay? And what happens is I have this sweep of my groin in the air here. I have a sweep going back, and then I have a sweep coming up, and then a squeeze of my hips on the top. So what my tush is doing when I go down is my tush is lengthening, stretching, and then my tush comes together and squeezes on the top. That is what you need to be thinking when you're doing your squats. You need to be thinking about turning on your tush, or you're just going to be using all your quads and none of your butt whatsoever. So, let's review. Chest is up. Squat like you're making a butt print on the chair behind you, yes? Knees tracking in alignment with the toes. Down, squat, up, squeeze your butt. Hinge at the hips. Use your butt to get up. Hinge at the hips. Use your butt to get up. Your butt should be squeezing on the bottom when you come up. See? Out. Squeezing up. Let your tush help you get back up to the top. Alright? They're mowing the grass, so I'm going to cut this video. Have a great day. We'll have more tutorials like this on muscle activation so that your workouts are more effective. Have a great day.